If your website is not bringing you leads or customers, it's not doing its job. And this is where a lot of business owners go wrong. Oftentimes their website is built to look good and share a bunch of information, but it doesn't bring in real business results. Now, a beautiful website is good, and that is important, but that is not the end goal. Having a website that is just a nice, good-looking brochure is very passive. It presents information and it's aesthetically pleasing, but it doesn't guide the user or the visitor towards taking action and becoming a paying customer for your business. As a result, people visit your site and then leave. You might have good marketing and good traffic flow to your website, but if your website acts basically like a brochure, it's not going to produce results for your business and you're leaving a lot of money on the table. People will visit your site and they'll see, all of the information that you have there about your business and whatnot. And it might look great, but there's always a certain sequence of things that people need to see and read in order to take action and become a paying customer. If you don't have that, if you have random structure, if you don't have good copy, people will bounce from your site and then you effectively lose money. And that is obviously not good. Now, to make sure that this doesn't happen, your website should have a clear goal. This is going to depend on your business, but it's usually going to be one of three things. It's either going to be leads or inquiries, bookings, or purchases. If you're a local service business, it's pretty much just going to be either inquiries or bookings. And if you're something like an e-commerce business or an info business, it's going to be purchases. Regardless of what the specific conversion goal is, your website is always going to be an important part of how you get customers online. And that's because your website is where all of your traffic goes. So if you're running ads on Meta, Google, if you're posting on Instagram, if you're posting YouTube videos, people that are interested in what you do in your business, they will click a link and they will go to your website. Now at that point, one of two things will happen. Either the website effectively guides them through what they need to see and read in order to take action and become a paying customer or get closer to becoming a paid customer, or that's just not going to happen and they will leave the website and go about their day. And you, as a business owner, obviously don't want that. So instead of your website just blurting out all the possible information that you can think of about your business, the site should communicate a couple of things very clearly. That's pretty much it. And that's going to be, what exactly do you do? Who do you do it for? Why should someone go with you? Why should they trust you? That means the website copy and the structure needs to be designed in a certain way to answer those questions as quickly and easily as possible. Emphasis on the quickly and easily. As I already touched on in the last video, people have very short attention spans. When they're on your site, the information needs to be as easily and quickly digestible as possible, so they don't have to think too much. If they have to think too much, if there's too much friction, they will bounce. Now, my background is as a copywriter. That's how I got started in business. That's how I made my first money outside of a normal job. That's where I have the most experience. And that skill, that lens gives me a certain way to look at making a website and making it perform well. Because in copywriting, there's this principle that there's always a certain sequence of things that a person needs to see, read, hear, whatever, that a person needs to experience in order to take action, in order to become a customer, become a lead, whatever the conversion goal is. And the same thing applies for your website. As I said, there's always a sequence of things that the visitor of your website needs to see and read in order to take action, in order to send an inquiry, make a booking, purchase whatever product you're selling. Your job is to figure out what that sequence of things is. What do they need to see? What do they need to read? In what order does it have to be laid out? And then, well, put that on your website, because your website should bring in business, not just look pretty. Looking pretty, the design of it, that's only half of the equation. It's obviously important if you have decent structure and decent copy, but the website looks like garbage. That's also going to hurt you. That's also going to make people leave. So you can't have one or the other. You need both. But in my experience, the structure and the content or the copy of the website is more easily and more often overlooked. And I think that's just because people want things to look flashy, to look good. And as long as that's the case, they don't really worry about anything else. But as I said, you need both aspects. Otherwise, the whole thing falls apart and does not bring in the results that you want for your business. That's pretty much it for today. This one's a shorter one. No specific technical steps and tutorials on what to do. If you're running a business and your website is not bringing in the results that you would want, then there is a link in the description. You can click to book a call with us. We'll take a look at what's going on, what you should improve, what's actually hurting your conversions and so on. Click it, don't click it, I don't care. But today's video was just to make sure you're looking at your website and at what it should do in the right way. That's gonna be it. Have a good day. Ciao.